All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA Show, Mastering Self-Confidence. And what I want to get into today is just asking you the question, why aren't you doing the things you love? Now, most likely your response is because I can't afford to. I'm going to probably have to say you're full of shit to a certain degree. Now, don't get me wrong. I get a lot of people get caught up and say, well, I want to travel the world, or I want to do something that's extremely expensive, right? Or things that cost a lot of money is what I should say. But I'm here to tell you, most people are not doing the things they love because they're lazy, I think. Or they're not creative enough to figure it out on how to do it. Now, also, I think what happens with a lot of people is they have to take things to the extreme. Okay? I get it, 100%. But again, a lot of my friends, family members, colleagues I talk to, most of the time they'll ask me about my lifestyle. How do you live the life you lead? And the reality is, I do what the fuck I want to do. But I don't have to do it to the extreme. And I think that's how a lot of people think. If you're somebody out there, for instance, I have a lot of friends that say, man, I wish I could fish more. If you don't have time to fish, you're a jagoff. I don't care if you love fishing and you have to work 80 hours or whatever you got to do in your life to support your house, your car, your kids and all, and you can't appreciate the one thing you love to do, what the fuck are you doing? And that goes for a lot of things. A lot of people I know are always giving me excuses why they can't do what they want to do. Yeah, I get you can't fly all over the world. You can't be on a cruise constantly. I get it. But things like, say, fishing, like I said, I'll use other examples too. I have a lot of friends that say, how do you find time to, work out even? I'm like, are you kidding me? They're always too busy, according to them, doing something. I'm like, if you're not taking care of, if you don't have time for your health, again, what are you doing? But I kind of call a lot of bullshit because I know a lot of my friends, family members, or colleagues, if you talk to them, though, about what's happening on Netflix, they'll tell you everything, right? So I'm thinking, how can you sit around for hours and watch Netflix, but you can't go fishing? All right? Because a lot of them will be like, Rich, you got a YouTube page, you got a podcast, you were traveling before. I just did it. The other thing is just doing it. Start it. I think a lot of people, I don't know where this programming came in, but they just can't seem to get to do what they want to do. So I have a lot of friends and family that own Italian restaurants or just are in the restaurant business. I go visit them. They're always like, man, where do you find time to go visit them? I'm like, I get in my car and go. That's how the fuck I do it. It's real simple, isn't it? Well, I got to find time and then I got to get home. And I'm like, half the time, a lot of these places, some are expensive, but some aren't. I'm like, even if they're expensive, I'm like, you don't have to go there and order entrees every time. You could go there, order an appetizer if you want to hang out there. Just grab a cup of coffee, one drink. Other places, very affordable. You could go there and have some food once in a while. This really reminds me in Chicago. This makes me laugh. This is one of the things. So Freddy's, which is it's a restaurant. It's an Italian. It's probably my favorite restaurant in the whole world. It's originally a pizzeria, and they do gelato and Italian ice. That's what they're ranked number one in Illinois, I think, for that matter, especially Chicago. And I grew up going there with my grandfather and all my family members because they lived in Chicago, in Cicero. Well, they lived in Chicago. It's called the Island, where a lot of Italians left Taylor Street and moved to. And that's kind of where Al Capone and all them guys kind of went. And there was a place called Freddy's open. They're from Joe. Pretty sure Joe. And they open this. It's got everything. It's got all different types of dishes there. I could go on and on. It's incredible. If you ever get a chance, check it out. Freddy's Pizzeria, or it's just called Freddy's. And when I'm in Chicago, I usually either go to Portillo's. Now I don't have to go to Portillo's because there's a Portillo's in Tampa. There's two of them, actually, Brandon and Tampa proper. So that's not a big deal anymore. I could go there whenever I want. But I always try to go to Freddy's. A lot of times when I land, if I'm especially flying in Midway, I go to Freddy's. Or if I'm leaving, I'll go to Freddy's. My cousins, we all meet at Freddy's. I go to Freddy's. I go to Freddy's more than almost every family member in Chicago. They're always like, how do you get to Freddy's? I'm like, how do I get to Freddy's? What do you think? I fly in? I have to fly in? When I'm in Chicago, I drive to Freddy's. They all talk about it being the best restaurant or the best... It's got everything. It's got breads. It's beyond a restaurant. And it just amazes me that they make it sound like I can't get there. Most of them don't even live a half an hour from there. But, they just can't. If you are somebody, that wants to do something in your life, do it. Don't let anyone or anything hold you back, especially if you're younger. And I've been talking about this because, a lot of my demographic, they're younger. But, when you're younger, a lot of times you are doing, I think, a lot of times that, you're doing a lot of things you'd love to do. You don't get caught up in blocking yourself constantly. And it's not even about money a lot of times. If young people, you want to go skate. You want to go to the gym, go to the gym. You want to go surf. You want to play some video games, you play video games. I don't know what happens as we get older. I think it really starts when we start having kids, truthfully. We start using the excuse, I think, that we have kids. Can't go out, got the kids. Or actually, I'd say it's when you get married. You're kind of looking at your wife or whoever you're with. Not even if you're married, you're like, oh, I'm guilty. If I go do this, then if I don't take them or I do that or... there's all this bullshit. Then you start having kids. You're like, oh, I got the kids at home. She's up all night with them. I'm up all night. I can't leave the house. All this fucking nonsense. I never understood that. Truthfully, I had a sick daughter who had a liver transplant. I also had another daughter who ended up with type 1 diabetes. When they were babies, I went and made 2 feature films. Now, I got to give all the credit in the world to my ex-wife. She helped me, but she worked a lot of times during the day, and I'd have the kids. And then at night, I shot a lot of my films. And I tried to work in between, or I was working. But I went and did what I had to do. But she knew I had a passion for it. It wasn't like I'm going to strip clubs or going fucking around. If you're somebody who wants to do shit, go do it. Especially if you want to start a little side business, don't let people restrict you. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If someone loves you, they're going to get behind you. I just thought I would just do a quick podcast on this because I just don't understand a lot of times why people don't have the balls, and I don't know if it's confidential or whatever it is, after a certain amount of time to do certain things they love. And again, I'm going to go back to it. I understand maybe you want to go boating every day and you don't have a boat and you can't afford a boat. Okay, go out, right? Maybe join a club that has boats or whatever, and you just got to take it on or become friends with people that have boats, boat with them. They're whatever. You could be like, hey, I'll pay for the gas. Hey, I'll help clean up with the boat. Hey, whatever. Become a member of a club. One of my buddies is a member of a club. I forgot what it is. It is a Ferrari club. He doesn't even have a Ferrari. He has a Porsche. He loves Ferraris. He doesn't have the money for a Ferrari, but he belongs in a club. He tests Ferraris, hangs out with all his buddies with Ferraris, goes to the dealerships. He does it. It's, you got to look at things like that a lot of times in life. And again, back to like the boat, like I was just saying, there's a lot of things, if you can't afford to do them, is what I should say too. Get around people that can and be genuine and honest about it. And most of the time, they're going to take you in. Okay? If you love horses, that doesn't mean you have to own a horse. You can go visit. You can become a part of that culture. I promise you, whatever culture you really want to be a part of, don't be afraid to just go be a part of it. Don't be afraid to go do it. I understand it may not be at the level you want it to be in. But it's like me saying, maybe I want my own show, right? That's why I love YouTube. Like if I said, hey, I want my own show on a certain type of network and I can't get on that network, which most likely who's going to deal with my craziness, I do have a YouTube channel now. I don't have an excuse to say, Rich, to myself, if you don't get on some network on television or cable, you can't voice your opinion. No, I can. I have YouTube. Oh, Rich, my mom begged me my whole life to be a radio show host. And I just never did it. And still to this day, it was hilarious. I was talking to her today. She's like, go to the radio, go to the the radio station. See, they're going to love your podcast. I'm like, how hilarious. But again, I kind of started the podcast maybe because of her, but I could voice my opinions. Again, am I on Sirius radio? No. Am I on FM, AM radio? No. But I still can do what I want to do. You can make shit like this happen for yourself. So man, sometimes I feel like I'm on these rants, but man, don't sell yourself short. So many people out there I talk to, they're always telling me about why they can't do certain shit. I'm like, I'll go with you to do it. What are you... I think, again, it's fear, and I understand. I think sometimes, too, we think we want to be at a certain place, and if we get there, it may not be as good as we thought. I sometimes think it's, for people, better to, like, have it as a dream than a reality, and I understand that. But, listen, have the balls to go be and do whatever the hell you want to be. No one gives a shit. You're, as far as I know, you're going to only be yourself, at least this go-around, one time. So what do you have to lose in life? I think it comes down to rejection, too. Listen, I was talking about my girlfriend with that earlier because, you know, with a lot of people looking for jobs and all these different types of things, she's like, man, it's with all her friends and everybody through COVID, everyone's going crazy with the rejection. I'm like, oh my God, I guess people, you know, I'm kind of numb to it. After trying to break in the film industry, writing books and doing all the crazy shit I do, creating an app and all this stuff and always getting rejected, I don't look at going after things as rejection and non-rejection. I just go do it. And I understand if I don't get it, my life just keeps going on. That's for all of us. So I'm going to wrap it up there. You get a chance, you might want to check out my YouTube channel, Rich CELENZA. Got a lot of different stuff on there, man. A lot of different stuff. I did a bunch of different podcasts with different experts in many different industries. Holy shit. Not just fitness. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm always saying, oh yeah, I had a nutritional expert or pro athletes, but I had my buddy Rob Beninati. He's a real estate guy who's a co-host of mine. But I had people that were, that were filmmakers, actors, actresses. Oh my God, my buddy Biz. He's second in charge at the Hilton Chicago, one of the biggest hotels in the country. Brian, he's awesome. My friends, just a lot of different people on there. So I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And stop fucking around. Go do what the hell you want to do. You want to ride a motorcycle, you can't afford one, go rent one, okay? You want to drive a slingshot around the neighborhood, again, you don't have the extra money to do it, you can go rent those. You want to drive a Porsche around or a Ferrari, go test it out first, go rent one. You'd be like, are you crazy? I'm not going to go rent the car for $200 a day. Well, you could. Go have some fun. And, you may drive it for the day and be like, you know what? I don't like the Porsche. I like a Ferrari. Or I don't like this. I may get a Maserati. Go test it out, right? Just anything. Even if you want to see, I talk about this too. A lot of people think that something's going to be a lot more amazing than it is. And like say a Sea-Doo, which I like Sea-Doos, right? But I never brought one. My friends had them. I always said I love them because I don't have to buy them. But if I went, I could go at a hotel right now. I live in Florida, anywhere, practically in the, in a lot of the beach areas, and go rent a Sea-Doo for a day or two and get my fix. After I do it for a day or two, I'm like, hey, I'm cool. No, I don't have to make a payment for the next whatever. I don't have to buy one. These are just things that if you want to do them, just go do them. It's not that big of a deal. All right, peace out.